Hello everybody, my name is Roy Collin and welcome to the speakingpodcast.com. And today I'm going to talk to you about creating a speech. A lot of people have a problem when they want to write a speech. They don't know how to start or what to do. What I did at the very start, my very first speeches, were I picked a topic and I wrote the speech exactly. And what I learned is one page is about 3 minutes. So if you have a 5 to 7 minute speech, about 2 pages of writing will actually work out ideal for your speech. The thing is, what a lot of people do is when they create the speech, they learn it by heart. So there's a few problems with that. One is that you're doing it from memory. So you're going through the whole process in a memory thing. I have seen people where they were speaking, halfway through their speech they stopped and they had to start again and go through the whole lot. So it's like doing the alphabet, forgetting a letter and having to go back again. So I have realised that this process wasn't for me, and there was a few reasons for it. One, it took too long, and like a lot of people, I think the more speeches you do, the better you will become and the more confident you will be. So it's easier if you can develop a system that makes you do a speech a lot faster. I have seen people being called on stage without doing any preparation and was asked to do a speech, and they did, and it impressed me. And it actually made me to do the same, which I have done. I've done about 4 or 5 speeches without any preparation whatsoever, and I've even done one in Polish. So how do you actually create a speech in a system that's faster? Well, first of all, what I would recommend is that do a speech that's personal to you, that you know about, because then you don't have to remember. It's actually your own experiences. So they are a lot easier. You can show emotions more when you do a speech like that as well. What I would suggest is mind mapping. The app that I use is Simple Minds, and there's another version, Simple Minds Plus. There's a free version and there's a paid version. It's something like $3 to $10 for a lifetime, so it's actually very good. And how I create it, and I'll actually show you here, is I think of my speech. So, for example, when I was launching my book. So, I would create in the center, book launch. Then, what's the most important thing? You need to get the attention of the audience. So you need an introduction. So that's something you should really work on. So I always put the introduction up the top, intro, and that is something that I might have bullet points, but I tend to write it out what I want to say on the introduction, because you want to really express yourself and let people know what the speech is going to be about. Then after that, I put bullet points. So for example, I could put here chapters, what the chapters were about. I could put writing, how I actually wrote the book, what system I used. What else could I do? I could do publication. And you can continue around a different thing. The idea with this is the chapters. I know what my chapter is about, so I can actually talk about the different chapters, and I can go into different points. And I can get as long as I want. I could do 30 seconds on that, or I could even get up to 5 minutes. The same with the other ones. And sometimes you can even have subsections from that. So you could break, for example, the chapter, you could break what each chapter was, and then talk about them if you want. And the final thing for this sort of system is your conclusion. So I do similar. I put the conclusion at the end, and I actually write that, so that the conclusion actually tells people what my main point was and their call to action, what they can actually do to complete a project similar to this. So my advice to you, when you're writing a speech, not necessarily this might work for you, the page writing might be better, but try a few different things, because if you're not speaking often, if you feel that it's holding you back, then I believe play around with it, see what works, and if you find that this is the best way, then start using it. So thank you very much for listening to the podcast, and we will see you again next week.